All right, Raider Nation, listen up. I got some breaking news that is just coming out about the Las Vegas Raiders and what could potentially happen tonight with pick number 37 in the second round of the NFL Draft. Guys, you're going to want to stay tuned for this. There is apparently a brewing civil war in the front office yet again. So this is Civil War 2.0, and we're going to see how this is going to pan out. You're not going to want to miss what I got for you guys today. But before we get started, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. We are well on our way to 12,000 subscribers. Help us get us there. We only need about 180 more to go and we'll hit that 12,000 mark. That is our goal, so help us get there. Now, listen, we're going to talk about today what the Las Vegas Raiders are thinking. According to some reports that have just come out, the Las Vegas Raiders front office is split. There is a very contentious feeling right now about one player in particular who has fallen to the second round, which I have been calling for. Guys, if you go back and look at my videos prior, you will see that I have been saying that this guy is not a top 10 draft pick. I just don't see it. Is he good? Yes. Has he been trained by the best in the business? Yes. Does he have a famous father? Yes. Could he be good in the NFL? Could he be great in the NFL? Yes. But what I've seen on the game tape shows me that he has some serious holes in his game and he's just not elite. And yes, I'm talking about none other than Shedeur Sanders. Now, Shedeur Sanders fell all the way out of the first round. Just like I've been saying, he was a second round quarterback, and I think teams seen it the same way. Now, that doesn't make me a genius or anything. It's just I have eyeballs and I watched his game tape and I just didn't see anything special there. I see a very accurate quarterback. I see a quarterback who can manipulate defenses with his eyes. I see a guy who can move with his feet, definitely a lot better than Aiden O'Connell. And I see a guy who can, read defenses. Sounds familiar? Yeah, because we already have that quarterback. His name is Geno Smith. I understand Geno Smith is a lot older, 10 years older than Shedeur Sanders is, and he doesn't have a famous dad like Shedeur Sanders, but it's basically the same exact quarterback. He's not an elite athlete, neither is Geno Smith. Can he move with his feet and get out of the pocket? Yes, he can. Is he good at reading defenses? Yes, both of them are. Can they be accurate with the football? Yes, they are very accurate quarterbacks. They are also very average in their arm strength, and they don't take over games. Now, hopefully Geno Smith is going to be able to do that this year. He has progressed year after year of being a starter out there in Seattle, and so I just don't understand why the Raiders would want to draft Shedeur Sanders at all. However, the Raiders have pick number 37, and there's a brewing civil war. So we're going to get into that. But first, I do just want to say thank you to Box House for sponsoring this video. Check them out here. It's absolutely awesome. And lastly, one more thing I do want to say is Hour.com, guys. I keep telling you the truth, and I'm not seeing the people going over and getting their free trial. Do yourself a favor. Go get your free trial, Aura.com. Link is down in the description. Because in that 14-day free trial, if you don't like it, you just cancel. You don't get paid, charged anything, but you will get your dark web search done and let you know what information is out there on the dark web right now. They'll also initiate a whole bunch of removal requests from all the data brokers who are selling your information right now, which is why you get all that spam email, why you get spam phone calls, spam texts, all of that. They'll start putting in those requests within that 14-day free trial. Plus, they have a whole bunch of other stuff. If you want to monitor your kids' internet usage, which you should be doing if you have kids under the age of 18, they have something for you. If you want to block spam calls and have AI answer your phone for you and verify that this is somebody you actually want to talk to, they have that available for you. VPN plus $1 million guarantee if your identity were to be stolen. Hour.com, go and check them out right now. All right, guys, so the report that just came out is pretty Disturbing, because we don't know what's going to happen tonight at pick number 37. What we do know is this. John Spytek is not sold on Shedeur Sanders. Now, I think that if Shedeur Sanders is available at 37, maybe you take a swing on him and see what happens. But there's some negative sides to that, and we're going to get into that here in a second. But John Spytek is not sold, according to insider sources, on Shedeur Sanders. Mark Davis, however, is. But this is why Mark Davis brought in Tom Brady. This is why he brought in John Spytek. This is why they brought in a guy of Hall of Fame caliber coaching like Pete Carroll, is for him to stop making dumb decisions for the Raiders. And he's admitted this. This is him in his own words saying he brought in people who know football better than him to make these decisions. And so the fact that Mark Davis is still apparently saying, hey, I want this guy, just let John Spytek do his job. That's why you hired him. I know as an owner, you feel like you can do this, but you're only hurting the team. Now, according to this report, also Pete Carroll has warmed up to the idea of drafting Shedeur Sanders in the second round now that he's fallen to them. But could Shedeur even be available at pick number 37? Well, there's a monkey wrench in this whole scenario. And that is that the Cleveland Browns, they traded back. Remember, yesterday they traded back and they picked up an additional second round draft pick. So they have 2 draft picks ahead of the Las Vegas Raiders. And, Deshaun Jackson, who knows if he's going to actually pan out this year. They are pretty tied to him financially, but they got to be looking at the future beyond Deshaun Jackson, and they have shown some interest in wanting Shedeur Sanders. However, Shedeur Sanders has a father named Deion Sanders who's made it very clear that he does not want his son going to a team that, or particular teams, let's just put it that way. But we all know who those particular teams are. Guys like the teams like the Tennessee Titans, teams like the Cleveland Browns. Those are the type of teams that he doesn't want his son going to. And they're for selfish reasons, but they're also for reasons that benefit Shedeur. He wants his son to go to a team that has a winning tendency. Even if they've had a couple of bad years, like maybe the New York Giants, he still wants his son to go to a team that's going to get a lot of limelight and have a lot of success. Cleveland Browns, that's not the team. Tennessee Titans, that's not the team, right? So the other part is, it's kind of a selfish reason from Deion Sanders, and though he hasn't said this, he's said as much, if you read through the lines, that he would like his son close to home. And he's going to stay in Denver and continue in coaching out there at college football. Having his son in Las Vegas makes perfect sense for him because it's like a 45-minute flight for him to go watch his son's home games and for his son to come home and spend family time during the week. So it makes perfect sense that he would want him there in Vegas because of the proximity. And then you add in all of the glitz and the glamour and the limelight that comes with Las Vegas. And there you go. Deion wants his son to go there. But we have Geno Smith, just extended him on a 2-year contract. So would Shedeur Sanders want to sit behind Geno Smith for the next 3 years? That's the probability when you draft him that he's not even going to take a snap in the NFL if Geno is healthy for the next 2 to 3 years. Now, the Raiders could move on from Geno a year after next, and it'd be pretty much a wash. They wouldn't take too big of a cap hit. But why do you go and you sign Geno Smith? Why do you trade for him? Why do you do all that? And then you go and you draft Shedeur Sanders just to have Shedeur sit there. It doesn't make a lot of sense. We need to win now. Pete Carroll needs to win now. So the fact that Pete Carroll, apparently according to this unverified source, has said that Pete Carroll's warmed up to drafting Shedeur Sanders, to me doesn't make a lot of sense because at that second round, you really need to build the trenches. And we're going to get into a couple of names that will be available potentially for the Raiders if Cleveland doesn't take them or Tennessee doesn't take them. Then these guys could be available and they would be day one immediate impact players for the Las Vegas Raiders. And we are talking offensive linemen. So the first one I want to talk about is Tate Ratledge out of Georgia. Now he has had some injury history, but this dude plays mean, aggressive football. Think JPJ out there, just getting nasty with it, never stopping, high motor. That's Tate Ratledge at guard. This means if you draft a guy like him, you can now make sure that JPJ is your starting center where he should be. That's his natural fit. Tate Ratledge is a natural guard. He's not a center. And so now you have killed two birds with one stone by drafting a guy like Tate Ratledge. But he's not the only name out there. Marcus Embo is another guy out of Purdue. Another big-bodied, very good natural guard. Embu would definitely be a great pick for the Raiders because he's very technically sound. He definitely can help to pick up all of those stunts and defensive schemes that they try to do, blitzes, etc. He's very good at picking those up. And he may not play that mean aggressive style as much as Tate Ratledge does, but he plays very sound football, and that's what you need at the offensive guard. So either one of those guys will most likely be available for the Raiders in pick number 37, and we need help. And we know that John Spytek has said that you win championships with the offense and defensive line, and this is where the Raiders have a big need. We don't have a big need at quarterback right now, especially when you're just drafting a younger clone of a Geno Smith. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. Makes more sense to go offensive guard. But you could also go with an offensive tackle. Ozzie Trapilo is still available at a Boston college. Anthony Belton at a North Carolina State. And Ariante Irsay is out of Minnesota. He is still available. So those are three big names at offensive tackle in the second round. These are day one starters and a potential replacement for Colton Miller as he starts to get older. And if he does a holdout, maybe the Raiders have to trade him or something. Who knows what's going to happen with that situation. So to me, it just makes more sense that you go second round offensive guard. Third round offensive guard or tackle or vice versa. But you got to build these trenches. You went and you got the best running back to come out of college in decades. Now get him some offensive linemen who can open up the door for him and let him hit those home run touchdowns over and over and over again. Makes perfect sense to me. Well, we only got a few hours till the second round begins. So when that does happen, we will know what the Raiders are going to do. But until then, guys, if you enjoy videos like this, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. Would you want to see Shedeur Sanders in the silver and black, or should the Raiders go offensive lineman?